Hi, Griffin.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thanks. And you, now that you've beaten the monster of tech difficulties?
It's been my whole week. I've been fighting with so many things. I've been on Google tech support for hours each day. I'm exhausted, but
Oh, no.
this was a good culmination.
Very good. All right. So the point of this exercise is that we wanted to give people an opportunity to get to know the players and their characters a little bit more in depth, because you only get like a 30-second intro at the beginning of your first bout, and that was pretty much the only time I've asked you anything about yourself on stream. So
Yeah.
So we thought it might be fun if people could get to know you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So let's start with, how did you, Griffin, end up in this ridiculous contest of ours?
Oh gosh. So I have been part of a few Facebook D&D groups, some of which I'm more active in than others.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody at one point had to have posted a thing that was like, hey, we're doing the arena competition thingy. Like, message me if you want to be included, or email this if you want to fill out the form to do the thing. And I did, and then completely forgot about it. And then, like, a amount of time passed, and I was going through emails that I had ignored during their pop-up notifications, because I'm like, I don't know what that is. And then I, like, was going back through, and I'm like, the heck is this thing about... Oh, this is the thing! So yeah, it was this little bit of a, like, instinctive push a button and say yes, and then completely wander off until later when I got the reminder.
That's funny.
But I made
I'm curious as to which group it was in, because I didn't post it in that many places.
Yeah, no, I might have
must have been
Gilmore's.
It was probably Gilmore's, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the crafty group with all the creators and stuff.
That would make sense. Yep. That's funny. Well, I'm glad you ended up here, because not only are you very entertaining on stream, but you're also an amazing artist, which has worked out really well for us.
I've been happy to do that. It's been good practice. No, I just got a new digital tablet. That is why I've been on the phone with Google support, because I can't get two of my accounts to work on it. It's driving me crazy. But it's been good practice for getting me used to drawing digitally again. So I was like, I can throw some freebies out for the challenge of it.
Cool. Well, we're very grateful, because they're awesome.
I was glad it's going over well. Could have been terrible translation of skills.
Nah, it was good. It was good. And also Scrat. Like, I'm in love with Scrat. And so, you know.
Scrat is everything.
For something that I just invented more or less on the fly, it's kind of great that he's turned into such a icon of the arena.
I don't know what it is, but like idiosyncratically charming goblins seem to have a very high positive response rate on these types of broadcast D&D things.
Yep, I think you're right. I think it's just because they're so, I don't know. There's something about a circus goblin, right? Like, there's just, like, that's perfect. It couldn't have been a circus kobold. That wouldn't have been as funny.
No, probably not.
Anyway. Okay. Tangents. Wow. There've been a lot of those. You're like my, fifth of these interviews now, and I don't think any of them have gone without tangents yet, so, you know. That's the nature of the beast, I think.
Indeed.
So, tell me a little bit about your character. The most important question I have about your character is, why the frickin' hell did you spell her name E-I instead of I-E? Because it confuses the crap out of me.
So she's actually from a campaign that I'm having, that I was running with, or I wasn't running, somebody else was running it, but it was the Descent Tavernist, and I'd made the character for that originally, and then I had to drop out of that campaign, and when I rejoined, I made a new character, so I moved her over. But yeah, that DM also couldn't say her name properly, so it's Eleira is the pronunciation, but he kept calling her Eleira.
Oh, see, I keep saying Eleira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so in their origin story, she was born the identical twin, fraternally, obviously, of in a high elf family. So her sister was Elena, and she was Eleira, or Elena. Alana, Eleira, but they both had the AI consonant vowel.
Yeah. Thing going on.
So that was their synchronization until they were like, oh crap, it's a tiefling, get rid of it. So, yeah. But her character arc has basically always just been, got raised by a morally questionable human woman who was like the caretaker for the family and like scurried away with the kid, and she was supposed to kill it but didn't because she's like, I'll raise a tiefling, this is fine. And then
what could go wrong?
Right? Short story is she ended up dead, but that was not exactly Eleira's fault.
Not exactly Eleira's fault.
Well, she was a little abusive in the, like, you should be a better criminal, and why aren't you earning enough money? And then, like, it turned into a thing. And during one confrontation, the hellish rebuke went off. Wasn't on purpose, but, like... But then she found out about her sister and the family, so everything else in her quest has always been, like, if I can track her down, that'd be cool.
Cool. So, in terms of creating her, where does she come from? Like, where's the what is the inspiration? How did you end up with this Tiefling Bard in your life?
So, I have never personally been gender fluid, but like I remember being a kid, and maybe I would have been if it had been a more prominent option presented to people at the time. Because I remember being like very little, and whenever we were playing like fantasy, like I'm going to pretend to be Spider-Man and this person, like, they'd want to be Spider-Man, I'd go for Spider-Woman. Somebody would go for He-Man, I'd want to be She-Ra.
Right.
And in my head, it was like, they have the better powers, they're cooler characters, I don't know what you're talking about. But, yeah, looking back, and then, like, looking at other fiction I've written, I have a tendency to lean towards making female characters who are, like, have happy families that they're kind of disconnected from, so I think it's just all a echo presentation of a path never explored.
Right. That's kind of cool. I like that.
And my current partner is definitely the masculine personality of the group. So, like, of the duo, like, he is very masculine, I am very not, and, like, it is obvious.
Fair enough. I wasn't even necessarily... it's funny, because you say all that, and it hadn't actually even occurred to me to ask you why you're playing a female character. Because that's
one of the
not
good things about D&D.
It's not a thing in my head. Like, I'm just like, yeah, so? Like, you chose a tiefling as well. You're also not a tiefling in real life. Big deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like... But, it's just, when you said that, I was like, wow, I didn't even think of asking that question, because it's so not a thing in my head. Which is kind of cool.
No, it's not.
I kind of like that. It's not a thing in my head. Yeah.
Kind of gives everyone a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so she obviously was a character you had previously, because one of the things I was going to ask you is, what on earth possessed you to bring a bard into a contest like this?
Honestly, I've regretted it since the moment I started.
It doesn't seem like the most strategic maneuver.
No, I very quickly realized. So I have participated in one player versus player event before, and it was a battle royale like the one we had recently. But I think it had like 10 characters participating, so we went from like 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. and it was just a slog. But for that one, I went with a halfling arcane trickster rogue, and that was way more effective.
Yeah.
So like trying to figure this out. And this week I have to go up against a barbarian, so I was just looking at everything, I'm like, there's a good chance his hit points are twice as much as mine. And I start calculating like everything I can do that does damage, and like it's gonna take me at least 10 rounds to get him to 0 if everything works in my favor. So yeah, I'm not expecting to come out of this well, but committed. And it'll be a good show, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, that's my priority, right? Is to put on a good show.
Exactly.
Which you are very good for. I will give you that. You may not be the ideal person for a battle royale. Not you. She may not be the ideal person for a battle royale, but very showy. I approve.
No, I haven't done a lot of theater stuff, but I've won a few moth storytelling competitions, and I've done some audio podcasts that I ran for a while that were like entertainment based, where I played like a therapist who was taking phone calls from fictional characters. Like Jon Snow would call in and be like, I'm trying to figure out my identity, and I'd give my education's in psychology, so I'd give real advice, but in a couched as, and I could babble about that project. We're looking at restarting that project in December since everyone's home anyway. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, and it's a lot of work the way the previous editor/director handled it, so I'm going to try to bring him back as a director, but not an editor, because I think we could be more forgiving with that end and save some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Yeah, point is, hamming it up is I'm good at that.
Yeah, but I have a background in improv theatre.
Nice,
like
yes.
way back in my misspent youth. I spent some time doing improv theatre, and I swear that this has definitely rejigged those mental muscles.
Oh yeah,
that's good. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Eleira a little bit. She's clearly found her way to this arena. I would like you maybe to tell us a little bit about what this means to her. Why is she here? What is she trying to prove or do or achieve by being in this contest that she's clearly quite out of her depth in?
So, with most of anything she gets caught up in, so she's a chaotic good character by nature, which I know not a lot of people subscribe to putting much weight on alignments, but I tend to, because it gives me at least like a route to keep circling back to.
Yeah.
But so it's always been, I'm not going to be what my mom wanted me to be, the adopted mom who was trying to make her a criminal, but like all her skills are rogue-like end of bard skills.
Yeah.
Hence College of Whispers and all that stuff. But like, so she's constantly showing up places, trying to find out if her sister's been involved, if anyone's heard of her family, and that type of stuff. So usually that's her MO for getting her into a spot, is just part of the investigation and the search. But for this exactly, it's just sort of well, I kind of walked into a more complicated situation than I thought this was. I almost, I made it to a point where I was like, okay, cool, maybe I've earned enough clout that I could get some info, and then I died, and then I got put back in and resurrected. So she's a little bit off her thing, and I had, even when, everyone has been doing this very noble, I'm a participator and a champion in this challenge, so if I got knocked out, I toast my opponent, and she was just like, yeah, good job, and then just sat down and, huffed and was, chugging her wine thing, whatever, I didn't even mean to be here.
So what you're saying is she's here by accident.
Almost accident. It's definitely that, I showed up because I thought A, and I ended up signing up for B by accident. The being in the ring is definitely by accident.
That's kind of wonderful. I love it. Shit, now I've got to follow through.
Yep, I'm in character. I already set myself up here. I can't back out now.
Yep. That's great. I love it. Okay. So one of the things we're looking at doing is, from this weekend, hopefully, if we have time to set it up, is in chat doing essentially a betting pool, and using channel points as gold pieces or whatever, and letting the audience bet on who they think is going to win things. So if you were not in the contest and you were an audience member, who would you be betting on to win this contest?
It depends on two things. So if we were just looking at the two of them side by side and knowing what I've seen them do in previous rounds, betting on the barbarian 100%.
Fair enough.
If you let them talk to the crowd beforehand, Eleira's probably gonna win everybody over and be like, maybe she has a chance. And then I'm over there because I'm a sucker for an underdog story.
Yeah, no, fair enough. How about the whole contest? Out of all the people still left in it, who do you think is the favorite? In your opinion?
I feel like Eclipsis has best odds. Just on the assumption of stats and skills, the combination of traits, I've seen them use a trick I was already going to this round, so that's also being okay, so they're tactically smart, that's cool. Yep. They're sturdy, they have a few more resistances that are helpful. The barbarians are tough, but they're a little bit one note, so it's kind of doable to get around them if you think about it long enough. So I think they're odds on, but if I don't know what the next level jump would be, but if Eleira makes it past this round, once she breaks level 9, Oh, it's
Next
11?
jump is 11, yeah.
Because if she can get to 12, she is almost unstoppable. But, like, until then, she is almost a squishy little... Like, she is a Nerf gun that is lucky to get a good shot in. But, like...
So you've just got to get through this fight, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're sorted.
If I can get through this one, then maybe next level she has enough tricks up her sleeve. Because when she got like the level 4 spells and like if she can get access to a little bit more bardic inspiration for some of the cool college tricks that unlock, she has options. Oh, and magical secrets. At level 10, she gets magical secrets, and then she has booming blade that she unlocks, and like one good hit with the booming blade and the psychic blade stacked on top of each other, and that one hit can go up to like 50 points.
So all you have to do is survive your barbarian this round.
Yep. And I have only decided that I have enough turns to... I have enough firepower that I can kill them, theoretically, over a long enough timeline. So it's about not getting hit until I've gotten past that threshold.
Oh my goodness. So lots of hit and run away.
A lot of Scooby-Doo logic of, like, get the heck out of here, hide, and then if found, hurt them and scramble.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. Cool. That's a strategy, I suppose.
The strategy is, I'm scared, get away from me.
That's fair. That's fair. That's kind of great. So, would you like to talk about your other projects? Because I know you have a lot of cool stuff, and I feel like we should give you a little bit of an opportunity to plug your cool stuff, because there is quite a lot of it.
I do have a lot of stuff. It is very hard keeping track of it all, so I probably will forget something. But to try to keep it as succinct as possible. We just finished a Kickstarter for some wet erase character information books, which the version 2 of and the version 3 of will soon be on my Etsy page, which is under Griffin Ess. Basically, if you search under Griffin Ess for like anything, I'm the only one who exists because it's a brush name and I invented it specifically to distinguish me from other... Because my legal name is Sean Griffin, but there's a million Sean Griffins, so I used to do Griffin, S, and then I just spelled out the S eventually.
Yep, I like it.
So yeah, so if you search that, you'll find me anywhere, but I have the Etsy page that has those books that can be bought that way. I've never figured out a way to make them retail, so that's probably never going to happen, but I'm going to keep trying to relaunch them as multiple versions, because Kickstarter will let you. I have the art illustration stuff, which I am always open for commissions, and I almost always do private projects more than like corporate ones, so... You know, I'm always open. My rates are reasonable because I'm not a greedy person, and I'm not a DeviantArt person who doesn't understand how the business works. So, like, you know, because there's always that weird thing where they're like, why am I getting $5 and this person's getting $5,000? I'm like, because of tens of dozens of hours of arguing with boards of people making decisions. That's why.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I have those two things. I also have a Patreon for a project called Random Encounters, where I make recipes for adventure, because I've been DMing for a few years, and I've mostly done my own story creations. And I found that while I'm not great at the details, I am really great at the, like, composition of, like, here's the things you have to hit, like combat, social, investigation. If we can fit all those, and so I basically, like, write up in cookbook recipe style, like, add one... Add one hoarder NPC. Add one monster that does this. Add this location, and here's your hook, and good luck.
That's great. What a brilliant
so
concept. I love it.
I'm trying to figure out how to get it over to video, and I might, if I get enough recipes built up and I can't figure out how to get the Patreon to stick, then I'm going to put it up on Kickstarter as a book to put out. Yeah, but like visualizing for it is turning out to be a hassle. But my new tablet hopefully will help with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then there was something.
You have to move to animation.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a whole hurdle.
I'd say
that
like
I've
that's
avoided.
easy, right?
But maybe. And then on Drive-Thru RPG, I have some assets like PDFs that you can buy that like help you organize information for campaigns, both for DMs and players. And then I have a urban it's like 126 assets that are set for city play inside of D&D 5e, so it's like 12 new subclasses and all new spells for every level, but it's all with like, because that was the one problem, is all my campaigns are always set in cities, because I live in cities, and I've never lived not in city, so like these rural, like woodland, dungeons, like I don't know anything about those, but you put me inside of an urban environment and it makes sense. So, but I always run into things where I'm like, we don't have anything that solves for this. Like if we were in the woods, you would use these skills or this spell, but in the middle of a building, not so much. Yeah. So I did.
No survival checks, or well, I suppose they are survival checks, but it's not like tracking animals.
Yeah.
And, finding the moss and whatever.
Oh no!
Oh.
Nothing. I totally just caught my headphones in my hand motions.
I do that a lot. That's why I have wireless ones. See?
Yeah, I do have wireless ones.
Gesturing doesn't interfere. Cool.
I was so caught up with everything in the setup that I forgot to switch to those.
That's all good. All right, that's awesome.
So yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff. God, you're almost as bad as me.
I also spilled my drink, so I'm just putting a paper towel down.
I have a habit of doing lots of things at once as well.
Yeah, I also wrote a novel, but I'm looking for an agent, so I can't even plug that, so.
If only you knew someone who ran an indie publishing company.
I did not have that.
I do have an indie publishing company.
Noted.
And I'm not in America, so I don't care about agents. It's a very American thing, agents.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not really a thing in the rest of the world. Let's not go off on a publishing rant, because I have to stream shortly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Understood.
Yeah. So, wow, that's amazing. You do a lot of things, and people should go and follow all your stuff. If you send me a bunch of links, I'll put them in the description when we post this.
What's my limit of how many links? Because it'd be a long list.
Things you mentioned today. Which is probably most of it. But yeah. And yeah, we will see you on Saturday. Will we see you on Saturday? I can't remember if we'll see you on Saturday.
You'll see me on Saturday. I'll see you on Friday because of time zone differences.
Yeah. I live in the future. It's nice.
Yeah. No, I'm participating in the Wisdom Challenge, even though is not her actual best suit. I wanted to pick one where I wasn't actually good at it. And then I have the first fight after that where we'll see if I can outrun a barbarian around an enclosed space.
That'll be fun.
It'll be... Hopefully everyone finds it amusing, if nothing else.
Entertaining. It'll be entertaining. All right. You are awesome. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for the art, because honestly, that has been such a super brilliant thing to have to be able to.
I'm super happy to make sure everyone who is participating feels like they're getting something out of it. I don't know. I like contributing.
It's awesome. Well, I appreciate it a lot, because I'm not an artist. I can do lots of things, but that's not one of them. So
you do lots of things. I have been seeing some of them. I just have not. I didn't know about the publishing thing. That was a new one that I had not seen have happened yet.
It's because it's very quiet at the moment, because it's not my focus. There's a lot of other stuff going on at the moment, so the publishing's been kind of sidelined. But it's there, and it's a thing that I do. It's called The Patchwork Raven. You can go look it up if you want.
I think I've seen your something for that. There was something for that was tagged or referenced or something.
Yeah, probably. But yeah. We haven't done much recently, but that's because there's been a million other things. Anyway. Yes. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me steal some of your time today and ask you questions about yourself. And yeah, we will see you on Saturday or Friday for you.
I will see you then. Now I'm going to go hate watch and debates.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.